Hi, hello, and welcome to the Daily Tarot Buffet brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess of Blosi. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the transiting moon into Cancer. If you're new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. It's a delight and an honor and a privilege to serve you. Thank you for allowing us the pleasure to do so. If anything resonates deeply with you, go ahead and comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a consult, send a donation. If you can go ahead and smash that like button right now, you belong, so welcome home. Vertex of Abundance is a galactic temple of ascension, delivering sacred messages from behind the veil. Again, if anything resonates deeply with you, go ahead and smash that like button. Today we will be imposing the guidance from Thoth Tarot. That's by Aleister Crowley and Lady Frida Harris, published by US Game Systems. During the Libra season, when an energy is transiting the sign of Cancer, we actually have what's called a 10th house event. So the event that we're having is a lunation, lunar, a moon. Okay, so there's going to be increased insight, intuition into the areas of the 10th house, and it'll manifest itself according to the qualities of Cancer. So interesting energy here. Okay, the 10th house, the first house, the fourth house, there's all these little aspects going on. There's a lot of opposites and stuff like that. This is kind of even like a T square. So it's going to corner some particular facet, force us to look at it, to confront it, or we're going to have to refine our tactic, how we go about things, essentially. The 10th house really is our public life, usually. That also can be the 11th house a little bit. There's more spiritual energy in that. But it's how we look from the outside in. If we lived in a glass house, that's what people would see if they were on the outside of the glass, the 10th house. It also talks about, like authority in our life, mainly like employers, but it can be other individuals, people with power over us, the ability to authorize or veto things that we got going on. There's also this energy of the legacy on our life. Okay, so kind of also like our career, our reputation, our work product, if it's larger scale, especially if we, you know, own some type of entity like a business. Okay, so we'll be imposing the guidance through the Thoth Tarot. We will be deliberating the findings through the minor arcana of the Cosmic Covenant Tarot. That's by Lisa Lazenby over at Ripe Avocado. And again, that'll be to clarify any type of pairing or matching energy. Lastly, we'll be using the Vita Sibilla Daily Oracle by Los Scarabeo to deliberate any findings regarding clarification on correlative and corresponding energy. If there's a time when other cards come out, mainly for unions and matchings, sometimes we'll close with an oracle card. We'll illuminate, elucidate, and enumerate those cards at that particular time when so called. Let us begin with an opening prayer to all those still lost out there. To illusion, delusion, confusion, lost in the seas, a time trapped somewhere in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to the resplendent grace. Upon great spirit, we love you. Sorry, please forgive us. Thank you. We all ask that our steps be ordered, our path be illuminated, and that we find salvation and redemption in this life. May we be happy, may we be whole, may we be at peace, may we receive everything we ever wanted, starting what we deserve. We're going towards this energy of bondage. Typically, it could be freedom from bondage as well. It's not always about getting stuck in some situation that is particularly precarious or prickly. Now, if there's an energy looking at us, we could be the GOAT, the greatest of all time, with this devil card. Typically, in its most benign energy, it would talk about an alert to some type of faculty that we might want to avoid, or something's taken on a life of its own and it's kind of obligated to report to show something. It could be that we're dealing with something murky, nebulous, dark, something in the past, something that was unhealed, unawakened, and it's moving into the light. It could also talk about great power, obsession, compulsion, something that's one-sided, a one-track mind. It has kind of like a dangerous intelligence, meaning you know enough to get in trouble, not enough to navigate out of it, or sometimes even recognizing that there's trouble. Lastly, it could also talk about, and I'm just talking about the benign aspects, it could be talking about digging underground. Oftentimes, it's businesses, especially like land developments or gemology, it literally talks about going below the surface or the crust of the earth. Now, some of the more precarious or malevolent aspects with the magician and the devil, we don't like that. You can't talk about Mars. I mean, okay, well, there we go. So this is not good. That was a Freudian. This is not good. When you have the Mercury card, it can talk about Mercury, the magician and the devil. It can talk about Mercury in Capricorn, Mercury in the 10th house, but also it could mean some type of trickster energy, the sinister kind, not the jovial. This isn't Ganesh. This isn't Papa Legba. This is a liar, a falsifier, a forger, the duplicitous. Okay. They're a trickster of the worst kind. So the Nine of Swords here can talk about a spiritual attachment. This is a being that seeks a certain frequency vibration to enter into, to use other beings as a vessel. We have this Knight of Swords. So that's a very specific class of fallen angels or demons. This is a fallen angel energy. So those are what we call the great archons. They take all the virtues, the divine virtues that we have, and they kind of invert them. Instead of having this glorious dream, it would be a nightmare. Instead of having these great virtues, they would be severe vices. The list continues, is multitudinous, but you catch the drift. You know, etc. ad infinitum et nauseam. Okay. Now, there can also be some type of Sun in Capricorn, Aries rising. With the Ten of Wands, though, this could talk about purgatory, it could talk about some type of karmic cycle. That's what this is. So there's a karmic cycle here that we've gone into and we've mastered it, frankly. We found our intellect, wisdom, and communication. We might have found some type of skill, craft, talent, or ability, acumen. Yet over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be getting out of this situationship towards the Libra new moon. We'll be planting a seed. So around the Aries full moon, something came out about our path or our person, who we were as an individual, or our ideas, our attitude towards basically the world or the world of the living. Let's go ahead and clarify this magician with the devil. That's giving me trickster energy. Yeah, I'm getting that kind of harsh, hardcore. So something here has access that it shouldn't. Stanza, I'm catching a spiritual attachment. Now, frankly, there's just a lot of pressure building in the background. There's some type of backfiring energy here. Something is operating out of fear, because that's what the devil rules over. Fear, illusion, falsities, ignorance. So this is using fear. We call that dark magic. It's not necessarily about doing evil, sinister, wicked. It's literally for dark magic to work. The target has to subscribe to fear, ignorance, illusion, or falsities. The gate here was fear. The Nine of Swords in and of itself literally means facing fear. That's part of the lesson in the Nine of Swords. This energy is coming through with that technology to impose it on us. Yet we have some type of foresight, but the only reason we have foresight is because we've gone through it before. We've heard it all before. Now, if Lanimika comes out, or Lanimiko, yeah, something's up. But this seems like in a previous time, there was a fumble, something was missed, because of ignorance. And the fear is this type of rumination, hoping that something could be fixed. There might need to be some kind of formal action. Something's coming and going in terms of the opportunity dissipating. What's coming in is waves of panic, fear, anxiety, because something has to be addressed. It might be difficult. And lastly, there's some type of distress here. The devil with the nine of swords is a spiritual attachment, but with the knight of swords, it's distress. I'm going to clarify this one thing before we go. I wanted to know what that knight of swords with the nine of swords was. And we have here mercante, something's lying in wait, it's ready, all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, the P's and Q's are minded. So that means it's not so unintentional. This is intentional. It's not accidental. So something is lying in wait. I do want to say with Bambino, something can grow quite easily if it's given energy, effort, attention. And what it is that there's been something mean or something cruel or something very unfortunate happening around something that was once promising. And there's been some kind of consideration around it. And now things are out of reach. So we're dealing with another party. The 10th house would do deal with others. This is not so much romance as it is public life or authority, jobs, careers. It can, if there is romance is happening in the public, maybe on a public stage, or maybe just a collective has judgment capacity or capabilities. Lastly, it's kind of manifesting according to the energy of Cancer. So Cancer is the home. It's where we go for privacy, secrecy, where we go for rest and recuperation, peace, and comfort. It can talk about the mother. It can talk about nurturing, where we go for sustenance. It could even talk about the interior of things, like the bathroom, the place where we put on our makeup, where we put on our face, or the car, the place where we sing at the top of our lungs, like inside the shower. Okay, that's kind of like what the fourth house is. It's the heart chakra, the hearth, the home. So there's a pair of fours here, and something wants to move to the next level of a commitment. It wants to level up whatever the foundation is to improve upon it. And there's some kind of being granted favor here. It's a tit for tat, though. Something was done effectively, and the petition's being answered, but some kind of energy is returning. I'm hearing the song Turn the Beat Around. Love to hear the percussion. So somebody sounded an alarm. Someone sounded an alarm galactically. Okay. We impose some type of right spiritually, Six of Wands. We went through the trial tribulation, we received the glory, and we exercised such a privilege. And it came back saying, okay, somebody's actually trespassed. The intention once upon a time was union, physical union, Queen and King of Pentacles. Yet they were stripping, they was on something. I don't know what that is, what that looks like. Something wasn't right. And again, I'm hearing that song trying to beat around, love to hit the question, turn it up, turn it up, turn it upside down. So something's coming back around. It's almost like the universe keeps playing something back, watching the feed. So there should be a commitment here. It doesn't always have to be a romance, a filial union, because the King of Pentacles is an owner. They're typically like a millionaire or the owner, the person that can yield or manage, derive value out of whatever instrument, asset is physically located. And then King and Queen of Pentacles would be business partners sometimes. Normally that's a committed partnership. They're life partners. but it'll come through if it needs to, and if it really is love. I haven't seen it yet, and I'm not gonna mention it too much because we haven't gone there yet. But there is some kind of divine that says something was unfair on our end. We actually have a perfectly curated skill, talent. We definitely have the know-how, and we're the right energy to be present. However, there were darker moves in the past. Either there somebody successfully traveled to the underworld, to the underground of something, like dug underneath the soil, found some kind of gold or gems, or actually their chariot reverse, because the devil's here. Fives and the devils make things reverse. So chariot in reverse is can't gain the knowledge, can't move on, move forward, regressing towards the past, stuck somewhere, not able to have movement or traction. The road won't open up. There's no free passage. Something is locked. Something is barred. Something is blocked. Something is quarantined. That's the chariot in reverse. Even like accidents, if the tower or a lot of Mars energy is here, we don't have a lot of Mars energy, but this Queen of Swords with the Four of Swords means needing something to contain, needing something to be contained, needing convalescence, resuscitation, recuperation. So we were concussed. There was a previous trauma. This is a divine assist. Somebody may actually have their Jupiter in the seventh house or in the sign of Libra. We have Lanimica and Messaggere. So there's some mean messages here. Somebody's feeling cruel and they want to contain something. They don't want us to find something out. They want it to be too late by the time we find a disgracia, something to be lost. There's a time, there's a cycle of timing running out. Yeah, and that's actually the truth in Seattle. That's a confirmation. Yeah, they want us to miss an opportunity, but they don't understand how to move. So that's about that. They don't understand that we're cloaked in spirit. We're bathed in the blood. I'm going to leave that there. That is what I'm hearing. Okay, so there is an energy here trying to manipulate, trying to repress us in some kind of way. I just want to say that because, again, this is about a psychic investigator. The universe will tell us if something's stuck, if anything's going against the covenant in our life, the universe will let us know. We'll feel it in our soul. Intuition, we'll have a dream or whatever. So we're at an open road here. Two of Wands. Two of Wands is the choice. It's the open road. It's the crossroads because this energy over here has been trying for the last couple of weeks, probably a cycle of 9 moons, to close our road. We have the Two of Wands, Two of Swords, literally open road, closed road. Something here of an opposing mind. They're oppositional. They want to block. So essentially, that's blocking a gate, closing a road, locking a window, closing a window, locking a door. It's, quarantining a dimension, collapsing a portal. They don't want freedom of access or travel or growth or, they want to block abundance and love from coming through, is what I'm getting. And this is an energy that has, at one time, has had power over us. This is somebody of an authority figure. So we could have a false elder, a false boss, a false, anybody with power over us. It can even be the father, you know. Yeah, I'm hearing that song, Fathers, be good to your daughters, good daughters that love like you do. Girls become lovers, turn into mothers. So mothers be good to your daughters too. That's it can't, is that John Mayer? Now, to a lesser degree, we may be feeling franchise and control here, and I don't really count it because there's Aquarius rising here or Venus in the seventh or fifth house or in Leo. A pair of twos usually means a partnership. There might have been some kind of unauthorized union, is what I'm getting. There's some baneful intent here. I don't like seeing the strength card with the moon. It oftentimes talks about a natural born witch. They might not even know that they're imposing their will upon someone else. I'm hearing that song, Fathers, be good to your daughters. Your daughters, they love like you do. Girls become lovers who turn into mothers. So mothers be good to your daughters too. Okay. Ooh, I'm getting some nasty McNasty. Let's move on from that. So this is a most decidedly uncivilized energy. They're not even kind to their own offspring. Let's leave that there and move on. Ooh, okay, so this pair of twos is at a terminal point of vectoring. So there was some kind of loose thread, open door, unlocked window, unguarded road for them to come barreling through. And this energy was successful at having access for some time, but that's dissipating. For the months up until recent past, there was this deliberation over whatever was going to come in and light our lives on fire, like not burn it down, but like light us ablaze, give us passion, drive, heart's desire, soul's ambition, our soul dancing inside of our body, our spirit emanating from the flesh, anything that was going to give us runway. There was like a watch, and it wasn't a watcher, it was more like there was this energy attempting to veil, to repress is the word. And it was through spiritual manipulation, energetic projection. Okay. Check it out as it resonates. It can also be that over the next month, there's going to be this illusionary success. There was also some kind of Jupiter in the 12th house, Jupiter and Pisces, which could mean they were using our dreams to, invert them, or there was something that had found success going over our head, behind our back, taking things out of our hands. Let me clarify that. Yeah, with a fishing expedition, they were able to go through our dreams, go through our psyche. Maybe they were able to rifle through the halls of a mentee, which is not the Akasha. So, yes. But the intention was to attend to us, hoping to find some kind of open and gain access. We're not accessible, approachable, or amenable, and the situation is completely stagnant because we won't give, we won't yield to these false. The kindness that I'm getting here is saccharine, which means fake sweetness. So yeah, there, as I suspected, there's this pair of aces here. That's usually a union, but it's being canceled out. So as we drive towards new beginnings, Knight of Wands with the Ace of Pentacles, there's this energy here that attempts to cancel out, to cut down, to carve away any type of opening. Ace of Cups. This is a reckless ruler. This is an overlord here, the Hermit. They can control things from far away. They can control things from the spirit. They can control things from the other side, from beyond the portal. It's an elder type of energy. This means that there's seniority here, unless they're teaching about divine power, which I highly doubt. It's a message from the other side. They were successfully able to, Six of Wands, they won at, yeah, whatever I'm thinking is the truth, Ace of Swords. They were successful in getting some type of unauthorized soul union. They had us bound and restricted, Eight of Swords. Maybe second guessing yourself, but there was some type of restraint or wrangled up is how it worked. This is rule, regulation, restriction. They impose some type of restraint, essentially making us yield to their authority. because of some rite and ritual, and they have to keep coming back in to tend to it. And part of their issue is that there's some type of jealousy here. So this is an energy, what was like, because I can't have you, nobody can, or I don't like that you're blessed. I'm angry and jealous of how your life is going. So I'm going to impose some type of repression and control over it, is what I'm getting. So unfortunately, what we're getting for this 10th house reading, the moon transit in Cancer, is that there's been some type of overlevel or overlord repression. That could be a collective, we're in some hostile times in terms of the powers that be, the governments of the world, the new world, whatever that looks like. I don't actually know. I'm not qualified to speak to it. I know a little bit about the dark cabal, and the thing I know for sure is not to talk about it. Don't give it any energy. Don't feed it. Declare independence. Seek the divine within yourself. That's half the battle. It's not all of it, and that's not the only thing to do. But that is the foundation. With the Ace of Pentacles and this Hermit card, somebody could have their North Node in Virgo, they could have their Mercury in Virgo, or in the sixth house. But there's an unraveling. And as I was thinking that, the Ace of Swords came. So this is an energy that does this through collectives. They have to use clicks, covens, cabals, or they have to tap into our ancestors. So one thing, if we are in some type of lava McLava, whether we know it or not, we need to, because sometimes you have a soul union that hasn't anchored into the physical yet, so we've yet to come across this person's path, or them ours. However, a skilled practitioner can go along the timeline and look, because oftentimes when we have catalytic relationships, we break out of a lot of old vibrational bondage. Now, they could be tapping into ancestry, our spirit team. They could be tapping into some type of twin or soulmate union. They could be tapping into some type of collective network, cliques, covens, cabals, co-workers even. They're tapping into something. And basically they need supply. Five of Swords with the Lover's card, that's needing supply. Because they would want to evict us from our support group. And in many rows, we had both aces come out. Look at this. We had all four aces come out. This is the second time in as many readings I'm hearing the word Kami-sura, which is friend of God. Okay. And I'm hearing the word God really loves it. So we're chosen. They're trying to become chosen, but it's like, yeah. And then the Two of Cups, yeah, Kami-sura, kiss from God. The Two of Cups, Ten of Cups, that's being tied to the celestial choir, to we have a rank in the heavens. And they're trying to steal it, Seven of Swords, or their access to us is fake. Their bond is an imposter bond. We're the genuine, real article, but it came through being stripped of this individual, this entity, energy, ideology. There is some type of false union here. And it has to be revoked. Five of Swords withdrawn from, annulled. We need to be left single spiritually, because there's nothing should be tying into our divine power, so we have some type of creative in the beginning. Somebody could have their South Node in Sagittarius here, or in the ninth house. And when you have the Five of Swords and the Fool card, it means somebody is an outlaw. Somebody here buck wild and crazy, ham hock heavy, and just lead foot in terms of reckless behavior. A series of not stupid decisions, but selfish, like they have pure self-interest, pure. And even when they're bonding with others, it's because of the self. And that's the truth. Somebody could also have their North Node in Mercury or the third house. So now we have a double five. Oh my gosh. So this is stripping, debilitating, decline, degradation, debilitation. They're trying to strip us of our choice, our favor, our blessings. They're trying to strip us of whatever we're nurturing and creative. They might want to strip us of our beauty. But the thing here is that we're a beautiful person. That's what the Empress and the Star card mean together. It means we're a beautiful person. I like that for us. And they're going to come out late because they tried to come at us as authentically as they could. I mean, it was still petty, boring, basic, and common. Excuse me for using that language, but the Five of Wands means bottom of the barrel. They come in with karma. It's a karmic lesson. It's most unrefined and elegant and inelegant. It's obtuse. Literally means bottom of the barrel. And Five of Pentacles means untouchable. They're Sudra. Shudra. A double five means persona non grata. They're not unwanted person. And yeah, so this is a personal injury that they're trying to punish us for. That shows a lack of character. Pardon me, let's move on. Advice from your priestess here. That's an untenable situation. One cannot attend to such an endeavor or match. To give to that would be futile. Tongue-tied here. To give to that would be futile. It's a foolish endeavor, and as such shall be fruitless when it terminates it. Mm. At the very best, this will be the test that we pass and the test that they failed. That's the best that's going to come out of this. They can't come with their heart. It's always conditional. So the love is not unconditional. So they're not offering value, they're taking. So anything there is transactional, which means the authenticity of the connection is suspect, shall be questioned and examined. I mean, we're not left with much to work with here. Somebody could have their rising in Leo, most likely with Saturn in the first house. That's problematic. It's basically somebody that has glory that needs to earn it, and they want to rest on their laurels, and they're probably a little bit grandiose. This is some energy here that really thinks things are unfair, disputetic. They're consistently unhappy, and they need to take responsibility, accountability for that, and they're not. Yet they have some kind of power over us, so that's unearned. They're on a counterfeit throne. It seems like shots fired today. Like I'm just going for it. So why stop now? Okay, I just heard the language. This could have been us, but you playing games. Okay, what that means? Oh wow! And this card will not leave them alone. Malinconia. So that's divine. If it comes three times, it's divine. The divine has ordered. Yeah, they're being set down because I think something upstairs is upset that we are left in this energy. The thing is we're going to get blessed right in front of this person that's trying to make sure that we stay down. There's going to be some kind of alert that comes. Yeah, and it's on the way. And it's from an institution or fortress or something kind of very, very stable. It's legacy generational. Oh my. So we're a beautiful person. Let's clarify that. Star card in the Empress means a beautiful person. Because we come from the heart, we're not demonic or criminal, and that's what this is calling them. It's calling them demonic and or criminal and undesirable, untouchable or unworthy. Fun chula. The fact is that we don't need them. And they're hoping and wishing and praying, conjuring up some wounding from the past with Sustiri, with we're mercante. We've built ourselves up from the inside out. We have everything on the ready. And they're hoping, wishing, and praying for a handout energetically. They need us to take pity on them, and they haven't petitioned us correctly for such an endeavor. So they're hoping some type of virtue signaling is going to do it. Compassion baiting, tone policing, concern trolling. They need to ask and state their intention and their need. We're not just going to give it to them because we have it or possess it. So we've come into some type of healing. And they'll gain this knowledge and they'll gain this position, but when they, you don't want to gain the world and have nothing else to show. You don't want to gain the whole world if it costs you the things you hold most dear. Because even if it doesn't seem like that, we're otherworldly. And the thing is, if somebody's trying to take you down, they're already beneath you. 7 of Wands. That's also divine protection. And again, we've been getting this goddess vector all day. We now have a pair of 8, which can mean rumination, it can mean manipulation, it can mean spell work, or it can mean time and indulgences. We'll see which one it is here. Okay, so 9 of Wands. There's an agenda. Somebody had an ego injury and they tried to bind us after that. They don't realize, though, that the universe put the outcome of that in our hand. They said, what do you want us to do with this Page of Swords? We received those messages delayed, and we are feeling constricted because there's something in us that feels compelled to give to the situation. But that's just when we withdraw our energies, things will shift and change. That's actually the consolation prize here. Because this is a false friend. As much as they want to seem like they're helpful and a support, la mica, frankly, the friend, amica, l'amicazi, the friend. It's falsita, false. It's a racket. They're putting on front. They actually secretly work behind the scenes. Domestico, militare, they're an operator. They move a certain way, sneaky, sideways, seditious, trifling, treacherous, treasonous. They're a spy, they're an operator. They're rickety, sneaky, tweaky. They're slink. They're probably some kind. Let me stop. Oh, my. Okay. Wow. Okay. So we're clarifying on that love energy. Odious opinions. Unrelatable, unsympathetic advice, easily influenced by others and their viewpoints. Unpleasant opinions, creating doubt and denial of connection. So they won't be honest about how they really feel, but they watch us from behind the scenes. They got eyes on us. Okay. So that's just what that is. I followed blindly what everybody else was telling me. They made me believe our connection wasn't real and that it was just a waste of time. I now know that was untrue. Aquarius. I acted like I didn't care, but I did. I just needed my time and space to think on my own. I didn't want to be tied down by a relationship because I wasn't ready to put in the work. Now, this is winter. I don't think it's always going to be actual winter season because it's different per the hemisphere. But winter is an archetype of the harvest dying out, no longer having a storehouse of sustenance. Things are withering up and drying. It's scarcity. We're in a cold season, a moment of austerity. The moon perception, yeah. So the arrival of the right picture comes, and there's a season of change here because we're beloved and we're finding, meeting people that really see us the right way. But we had to get rid of these toxic people. So here's what this is: we were judged poorly. People in our environment, surrounding location decided to think some kind of way, mislabel, misjudge, misperceive, misuse, mistreat, and ultimately that energy, that spite came back on those sources, those places. Eventually, we made it out. We started to go towards our own energy. We started to assail the mountain. We were seen as the general article just because it's a change in season. Nothing lasts forever. Everything is impermanent. Somehow, suddenly, out of nowhere, we're seen as the real deal, the genuine, authentic article. And as such, we now have support again. But the thing about it is, even when we didn't have support, we had the divine on our side. It's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing us the pleasure to do so. Again, if anything resonated deeply, go ahead and smash that like button. Until we meet again, until we read again, namaste, dandava, and ashe. Sayonara, das vidanya, avida zane. Take good care. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.